to show you a really quick background technique using salt. I'm going to show you that kosher salt is not just for making prime rib. We're going to use the Twinkling H2O's today. I'm going to go ahead and spritz them to get them wet, and apparently drop feathers in them. Don't even know where that came from. Anyways, to get them wet, get them ready to go. And when you're doing this salt technique, you want to go ahead and be a little bit heavy with your color on the tags or whatever you're going to be using for your background. Lots of color, and I try to mix colors really because the more colors you'll mix, the salt actually starts to separate the colors itself, and it acts like a drying agent. It sucks the pigment up, it sucks the water out, and creates a really cool mottled background. And what's also kind of cool about it is it creates every time something a little bit different. It's never the same twice. So I'm going to do an example on, let's do at least 2 or 3 of these tags just to show you an idea. We'll use this dark red on another one. Go ahead and spritz the tag for this so it really spreads everywhere. We're going to go use this dark red. Nice. Be able to get it juicy all over the place. Let's see how it's spreading. You really want it to be very wet when you're doing this because you want the color to spread, to mix into each other, and kind of get an even coverage over the whole project that you're doing. Make some hot pink in with this to kind of tone down. And let's use a little of this one. The reason the tags curl up so much is because we have water on the front and we don't have water on the back. Had I sprayed the tags on both sides, they wouldn't curl so much, but I kind of messed up on that.
You can do it to that one.
I'll show you how that works. Kennedy, you're so darn smart, it just scares me. Anyway, see how that flattens out? Genius right there. What would I do without my child? Anyway, now I'm going to choke to death. Really? Don't make me laugh, then I choke. Yeah, it didn't get well. So now that I'm done coughing, I'm going to finish this tag up a little bit. We're going to do some yellows and some browns in here and mix it around. I think I'm even going to add a little bit of coralberry. The reason I am adding a little bit of coralberry in this one is it has a really cool mica that's almost it's like a pinkish orange. And it looks amazing when it dries. Okay, so these are all covered. You know what? I'm going to spray some water down here so they lie flat. I'm going to follow Kennedy's genius direction there. Okay, so they're all flat. Then I'm going to take some kosher salt, which is this. Comes in a large box. It's usually meant for cooking meat. And I'm going to pour a little bit in my hand so that I can just go ahead and sprinkle it on top of the tag. And you'll see almost immediately that the pigment starts getting attracted to the salt. Moisture starts going into it and sucking up into it. And sometimes you can see on this blue one that it's not really wet enough. So what I'll do, I'm going to go ahead and do a very technical thing and just brush my hands off over here. Super technical. And on this one you can see that it wasn't wet enough, so it's not soaking up. So I'm just going to go ahead and spritz it with water a little bit. Spritz them all. And what's going to happen is that's just going to kind of reactivate the salt and reactivate the LuminArte or the Twinkling H2O pigments. You can see this one over here I did a little bit earlier. And I mixed a lot of colors on here. I mixed the green, the coralberry, a little bit of nutmeg, some of the turquoisey looking ones. And as you can see that it starts separating out. Okay, so we'll set this aside. And earlier this morning, I did a couple and finished them up so you can kind of see what they look like when they're dry. Once the salt is dried, once the tag is dried, you just brush it off. And you can see it'll leave a little bit of a texture. You can tell that the texture is there by the fact that I can't get a perfectly clear impression with the stamp. But it doesn't really seem to matter because it looks a little bit vintage, which is kind of cool. And then here you can see I did it with the reds. I'm not sure if you can tell how I added some of the extra LuminArte down there, or the extra iridescence. And then I did it here. And you can kind of see how it has that really nice mottled effect. So anyways, it's a basic salt technique, and I hope you have fun playing with it. Isn't it funny what we do out of necessity? I needed a hands-free heat gun, so I stuck it in my Yoplait container so that I can actually show you a little bit more of what I'm doing here. So basically this one's dry. I went ahead and wiped everything off. There's no more salt on it now. And this one's just about dry. A few more minutes, what I'll do is I'll just put this over a trash can and just brush it off, and it becomes completely smooth. Just all you're left with is that amazing texture, as you can see here. And it's good to go. You can't reuse the salt. The salt is now tinted with color, so I'm pretty sure that you don't want that in the next project, although I've never tried it, and that might be a kind of an interesting technique in itself. Who knows, maybe I'll have that in a video. Anyway, enjoy the technique, and I will talk to you later.